That's
like
what
that.
they do. That's what they do. That's what that means. They didn't want to fight. It's either they'll do different way. They'll do. Oh, well, you got to do. It's like they prima donnas, bro. They like they girls, man. Like you ain't got nobody else to fight. He got to respond to send. He got to respond within a certain amount of time for what? You ain't got nobody else to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? He got responsible within a certain amount of time for what? They said that he lowballed him or whatever else. Eddie got known for that. Like Eddie's a cheapskate, man. He's a cheapskate. You know what I'm saying? And I already told you the business about what's going on. I'm not going to go further into that because I know he'll get a whole bunch of hate for that. But it is what it is, man. I know what's going on. I see what's going on clear as day. I've been talking about what's going on since the very beginning. And as you see, everything I say has come true. Everything my son say has come true. It's coming to fruition. And if you add everything I said up, it's going to come right back to this very point.
Jaron Boots Ennis gets exposed for bad business tactics. New information comes out regarding Eddie Hearn's Team Boots, whoever you want to call it, and what really is going on with Jaron Ennis' career. I want to make a video. Here's the video. Let's discuss all these things. Now, I've already talked about this, and it's so funny because on my channel, I speak freely. That has never changed since day one. Some people attribute it to this and that. I seen somebody left a comment on the Boots video, and they say, oh, but Eagle hate. He hates Jaron Boots Ennis. Oh. Just so you know, I am from a different generation. I am cut from a different cloth. As long as you know what is going on internally and that your heart is pure and you're doing things for the right reasons, you keep on moving and you disregard stuff like that. It's so funny that we live in this weakened society that's so soft where if you have a constructive criticism, people can't tell the difference between that and hatred, right? Why would I hate Jaron Ennis, but I'm the one that put y'all on Jaron Ennis on my channel, using my platform on the way up. Now that the business is not necessarily making sense and I have a complaint, some of you guys do what you always do, and you can't explain intelligently a better answer or explain what I'm saying that's wrong. So you just revert to it's hate. So you guys can keep crying in the comment section. Nothing is going to change. And I'm going to keep making videos about what I feel. So if you don't like that, unsubscribe. What other content creator do you know that's so gangster? He tell the people to unsubscribe to me. I'm a made man. I'm a made man. I don't need any more subscribers. I could do this until I retire. I don't need one more subscriber. Now, I'm not saying don't subscribe if you want to, but what I'm saying is if you think you're going to control me, then you might as well unsubscribe because it'll be a cold day before that happened. But anyway, let's get back to Boots. So I seen Brian Norman. He did an interview with Mill City, and he brought up something that I brought up. And I'm not going to focus too much on the video. It was kind of an interview because they brought on a guest, like a live caller. And then the live caller is doing what boxing fans do, emotional beta male stuff. He was asking questions and questioning if Brian Norman ducked Jaron Ennis because that's what he felt. And he was letting his emotions take over. And Brian Norman was trying to explain. And every time he tried to explain, the caller kept cutting him off and saying this and that and making like loose straw man arguments and stuff as opposed to listen to what people are saying. So the bottom line is what that video showed me, not that I didn't know, is that a lot of times when it comes to a sport where people are passionate, people have their minds made up and nothing you say is going to change their mind. So I don't make content for people who are rigid like that. And you're going to click a video, hear somebody speak for 8 to 10 minutes. The person's cooking with great points. And then just because going into the video, you felt a different way, you'll never be convinced, even though they show you proof, receipts. I don't speak for those people because you were never going to give me a fair shot anyway, and you were never going to let me change your mind. I do content for real boxing fans who are willing to hear the argument, hear the rationale, and then use their own critical thinking to determine if it makes sense. And since it's coming from ego, the best in the business, and it's not even close, you know it's going to make sense. So Brian Norman says something that I've been saying in my videos. The conversation came up where Josh Kelly did an interview, and I've made videos about all this, so you guys got to follow and subscribe if you want to stay tuned with boxing news. But Josh Kelly and his manager, trainer, his coach / manager, Adam Booth, they were speaking in different interviews with Ring about how Eddie Hearn sent an offer, but it was a lowball offer. It was an offer where Adam Booth said, the manager and trainer of Josh Kelly, it was a disrespectful offer full of peanuts because Josh Kelly had made better money in 10 rounders before. So probably domestic level 10 rounders, he's gotten better paychecks from. So why would they fight Jaron Boots Ennis for, he said more than half, the offer was half of what Josh Kelly has gotten for past 10 rounders. That don't make sense. If Boots Ennis is like the guy you're pushing and it's a big fight and Josh Kelly got to come fight in Philly, that's what he said. He said the contract was for, I believe, October in Philly. I mean, you got to pay like you weigh. I'm from the Bay Area, man, and that's what we say. Pay like you weigh. Anybody who's from the Bay, they'll know that slang, that phrase. So my point is, you keep finding these scenarios where Boots and his team are doing what Eddie Hearn has done before, right? First, it was Brian Norman, right? Where Eddie Hearn goes and negotiates through the public. All I ask is for a fair shake. Hear what I'm saying and then interpret it to see if it makes sense. So Eddie Hearn's tactic is this. He can't give Boots the proper fights, meaning he can't sew it up by himself. So now it becomes a game where it's pin the tail on the donkey and explain away and try to get the media and the fans on your side, some blame game stuff, to justify why he got to fight a fight that nobody wants to see. Oldest trick in the book. And I'll give you examples. Eddie Hearn in the past was like, we sent offers to Stanionis, to Mario Barrios, to Brian Norman, and they all turned it down and da-da-da-da. So he's leading people to believe that these were great, crazy, lucrative offers, and all these people were afraid. So now you can build Boots up and say, oh, he's this urban legend. He's not to be effed with. He's a boogeyman. Everybody's turning down offers. But then fast forward to the future, Boots' last fight was Amantis Stanionis. So riddle me this. How come you have past interviews with Eddie Hearn and they said they sent Stanionis a great big offer, right? A great big offer, and he turned it down because he's a duck and he's afraid of fighting Boots. But then he later fought Boots. What changed? Because it's not like 10 years apart. From the moment Eddie Hearn was putting that out, that Stanionis and Barrios turned down lucrative offers, to the end, which was last fight for Stanionis being a champion with Boots, something changed. So more than likely what changed was the offer improved, and then it became more of a, something to negotiate or be had. That's exactly what Brian Norman said. They said, we got a belt, one belt, just like he got one belt. Let's make this work. Let's make it work on both sides. You want us to fight on Philly, leave our home nest, which is Top Rank in ESPN at the time, and fight on enemy territory in an enemy's homeland. So I don't see how people don't see this play from Team Boots. And then some people are like, oh, man, no, ego, but that's Eddie Hearn. Oh, that's not Boots. Wrong again. Because guess what? Jaron Boots Ennis just re-signed with Eddie Hearn and signed an extension. So if you didn't like the way things were going, then you would consider free agency and maybe change up your representation. So guess what? You're a party to it. You are in concert with it. So I'm not giving no passes to somebody who is okay with being why would you sign an extension if you did not like the way things were being handled? Like, he didn't even go to free agency. So I have to lump Bozy Ennis and Jaron Ennis in the same boat, that they like the way Eddie Hearn has treated them and what he's provided for them. Because again, if you didn't, then why did you stay? It don't make any sense. So for me, it's a bad look for Jaron Ennis, because you're not getting the proper fights and it all becomes a blame game. Oh, Brian Norman ducked. Oh, Barrios ducked. And it's not even a matter of ducking. Like, yes, there is instances where people duck. Barrios fought Pacquiao. I mean, that's common sense. Barrios Pacquiao had been rumored for quite some time. If you're Barrios, now that the fight ended in a split draw, they might be able to run it back. So that's 2 Pacquiao fights for Barrios. You know, he retained his title. Why would you fight a Boots Ennis who hasn't done a fraction of what Manny Pacquiao has done? I may want to, I believe, but that one right? It doesn't even make sense. And you guys fall for it every time. Like, oh man, nobody wants to fight Boots. It's the way that people are presenting it. Eddie Hearn, there's a reason he's doing interviews and other promoters aren't doing this many interviews, because he is trying to shape the narrative. He's trying to shape the narrative so people, you know, I guess play the blame game, and it's everybody else's problem, it's everybody else's fault. I've never played by that, because you're the promoter, make it happen. You're the fighter, make it happen. Get it going. You know, say, hey, I want the Brian Norman fight so bad, and we're off by 250,000. Take it out of my purse, and we'll make the fight. You got to do, if you really want the fight like you're claiming, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make it happen. So for me, if you're not willing to budge and he's not willing to budge, that's why these fights aren't happening, right? More games. You got Josh Kelly's team. They already blew Eddie Hearn up. They blew the spot up. They said it was pretty much a take it or leave it, let us know in 24 hours type of offer. Yo, if the fight is not for 11, 12 weeks, why we got to let you know and we don't got time to mull it over or consider other options? We got to hurry up. Like we're talking about Canelo or Floyd Mayweather. These are the games that Eddie Hearn is playing, and he's playing in your face, and people are trying to act like they can't see it to try to save face for Boots. It don't make any sense. Who is Boots? Who is Eddie Hearn to be putting out 24-hour deadlines? I could understand if Canelo sends an offer to Edgar Berlanga. He probably got mad options. A lot of people want to fight Canelo. So, yeah, time is money. Yeah, you gotta take it or leave it. You know what I mean? When you're like an A side, you can do that. But Boots is not established himself as this like huge worldwide earner to the point where that should be the case, where you don't even have time to decide. Like, why are we backed against the corner? And as a team, we got to decide to take short money and we have little time to do it. You know what I mean? Like, what type of, just holler at us when you have more time to negotiate and go back and forth. But again, these are the games being played. What type of games being played? How's it going down? Stars to the stars, and I got to know now, right? These are the games being played on behalf of Boots in his career, and people are trying to act like I'm hating, like this don't make sense. If you want to make the fight, give yourself. Boots announced he was moving to 54 a couple weeks ago. You're not talking about fighting till October. We haven't even entered August. Why does Josh Kelly, and I don't even want to see the fight for the record, but I'm just spitballing. If you send him an offer, why he only got 12 hours to respond or 24 hours to respond if the fight's not till October? So his team can't have no say. They can't like go back and forth with the numbers. They can't mull it over, consider it with their family. They got to hurry up and commit. You know what I mean? Like, my dad was in the military. That's what the military do. They have this thing called TDY. If my dad got certain calls for an important mission, he had to pack his bags, rush down to the station basically, and head out, and then go to Thailand or Australia or wherever. That's how, because you're a soldier, and then, you know what I mean, and you don't have time to, like, you don't have a bunch of time. We'll just put it that way. But why is this happening for Boots in Eddie Hearn negotiations? It makes no sense. So a lot of people are ignoring the truth, and they're trying to turn a blind eye to it. Everything I'm saying makes perfect sense. And the reason I know it to be a game is because it'd be one thing if it just happened to Josh Kelly, but why is it happening to Barrios at a point, Stanionis at a point, Josh Kelly right now, Brian Norman Jr., and it's everybody else's problem, and it's because everybody else won't fight? That's BS, because Virgil Ortiz said he would fight Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis decided to stay at 147. Teofimo said he would move up and fight against Jaron Ennis, and then Jaron Ennis' team turned it down. Dan Rayfield reported it, and others. Devin Haney said he would fight Jaron Ennis at 47 because Turkey brought the name across the desk. He says Boots' team came back and wanted to fight at 152. So these decisions look pretty bad for Boots Ennis, because ultimately, at the end of the day, people don't care. They're not going to just keep giving you passes to fight whoever and get overpaid, and you're pushing 30. People are they're going to want to see you fight the bigger names. Virgil Ortiz is coming off of hand surgery. He said he'll fight Boots straight away off of the surgery. Boots' team said he wants a tune-up or so. He wants 1 or 2 fights to acclimate to the division. At some point, you got to take some risk, and at some point you have to, you know, maybe you don't get a tune-up. Maybe you have to shave some off your purse to keep a fight from faltering. Look at Errol Spence, bro. And I'm not saying I co-sign everything Errol Spence did, but it showed you he was so eager to fight Terrence Crawford and try for all the belts that he gave Crawford extra things that Crawford wanted. Otherwise, the fight would have collapsed. That is on record. He gave Crawford extra monies to make the fight happen. So while people are trying to kick Errol while he's down, or because he got cooked by Crawford, you look stupid and you sound stupid. He's a true warrior, and fans demanded the fight, and he gave you the fight. Whether it worked out for him or not, he gave you what you were asking for, and he bent over backwards and gave extra concessions to Crawford as the A-side that he did not need to do. Boots is not in that same position. Errol was a unified champion with a good resume, and he was selling out 50,000, 40,000 in Texas, doing great numbers. I was there. Sean Porter fight in LA, putting big fights, fought in the UK, and upped his fan base, stopping Kell Brook, right? Boots hasn't done all these things. Boots had 1 belt versus a Stanionis. Errol unifying with Ugas after he beat Pacquiao, who still has something in the tank, might I add, years later after the Ugas-Pacquiao fight. And beating Sean Porter is way better than Jaron Ennis beating Stanionis, who had a couple fights in a few years because of setbacks and didn't even look good versus Maestre in his fight before Boots. See, you dealing with something different. I really know boxing. I really worship this sport and study the sport. So I know who did what and when it happened and all that. So you're not going to play games with me. You know what I mean? But again, I like Boots. The way his career is panning out right now, not so much a fan. I like his style. I like how he fights. I like his personality. But I'm talking about the business side, how your career is being moved and shipped and loaded up for the fans. It's not really enjoyable. We want to see you in big fights. Boots is, for me, even when he was on PBC cards, he was past the point of like a certain echelon of competition. Chris Van Herdeen, Sergey Lipinets, he's too good for that type of competition. That's why people want to see Boots tested. Virgil Ortiz, Fundora, you know what I mean? Names that might be able to like murder Zylev, anybody that can hold their own with you potentially. People want to see that. And when these opportunities arise, I think Eddie Hearn likes to play media games. So he's just trying to make it look like it's everybody else's fault because they're petrified. But I told you, my take is a lot different. And we'll see what plays for Boots Ennis. But for me, it's just a terrible look the way it's going down with his career. It is eerily similar to Terrence Crawford with Top Rank, not getting any of the big fights, and it was everybody else's problem. And Demetrius Andrade signing with Eddie Hearn. Yes, you're getting overpaid. Yes, you're making more money per fight than probably you were making before, but at what cost? Every time I make a decision in life, I have a at what cost mentality. Like, yes, I could do this on, like, I could do something illegal on YouTube and get a lot of views. But then if I did that illegal thing, all of my years of work on the channel is over because my channel gets terminated and closed down because I broke YouTube's terms of services, right? Yes, I can be a part of this gang and do this and blah, blah, blah. But then my life is over if I get caught and I'm doing football numbers. You know what I mean? So I always assess at what cost. If I take X, Y, and Z risk, or if I make this play or perform this action, what is the cost? You know what I mean? And if you move through life like that, I think you'll be in a better place if you're making good choices, not just assessing it, but making the right choice or the best choice for that moment. And Boots is in the same Andre type of boat where, cool, you sign with Eddie Hearn, and then for Boots, he re-signed with Eddie Hearn. Cool, he's giving you more money per fight, but then your whole brand, now for the first time, people are calling you a duck. When you were with Espinoza on PBC cards, nobody was calling you a duck. Everybody was saying, if anything, some people were saying Terrence Crawford is ducking you. People were saying that other fighters didn't want to fight you, and you were just steamrolling all competition in your mid-20s, and people were like, wow, I like this kid. Now you're getting with Eddie Hearn, and since that point, you fought David Avocado, look worse in the Karen Chukazian rematch, right? You had the Virgil Ortiz fight fall out. Turkey himself said that you were the one that pulled out, not Virgil Ortiz. He says Boots changed his mind. That's his words specifically, right? You had Teofimo and Devin fights and probably Ryan Garcia, all these other fights. You're not staying at 47. And then now you have Josh Kelly, and they're talking about it's a low ball offer. Figure it out. We unpack. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard.